And welcome back to Get It Right, where we try to help you understand all your math problems easier. This time, we are going to discuss dividing polynomials. And we will be using long division. This is the same process that everybody learns how to divide in elementary school. We are just throwing all those ugly letters into it. And we are going to make it easy so you can get it right. So let's look at division. When you're in algebra, you will end up seeing problems written like this. They will tell you to divide this quantity of x to the third minus 5x squared plus 9x minus 9 by x minus 3. So how would we do this? Well, this is when you do long division. The first thing you will do is set up your long division problem. So you take the first item, or dividend, you put it underneath the little dividing symbol, and then put the divisor right outside. And this is exactly what we do with numbers. We're just doing it here by throwing in letters. We always want to make sure everything is written in standard form. That way we could keep everything lined up, keep it pretty, and it makes it easy to get it right. So what's the first thing we're going to do now that we've got this written? Well, what you want to do is focus on your first terms. So we're only going to look at the x in x minus 3. We don't care about the minus 3 at all. And we're only going to look at the x cubed at this point in time. We need to see how many x's it'll take to get an x cubed. So x cubed divided by x is x squared. So we will take that x squared, write it on top. That's where our quotient goes. And then what do? We take x squared, multiply it by x minus 3, take that product and write it underneath the dividend. Once we have that written, we do like we do with numbers, and you subtract down. So you will subtract down, and once you get that answer, bring the next item down. So we subtract. And of course, as you can see, if I was subtracting a minus 3x squared, that's the same thing as adding. So we have x cubed minus x cubed. They cancel out. They go bye-bye. Now we get minus 5x squared plus 3x squared. This can get confusing how I have it notated. I understand that, but keep in mind the symbols are just going to go with what's in front of it. So that just gives us a minus 5 plus 3 is a minus 2x squared. And then all we do is take the next term in our list, bring it down, and we have a new division problem. And we're going to repeat exactly what we did all the way until we are done dropping items down. This is the same thing that we did with long division. So now focus on the first two items. X goes into a negative 2x squared. Well, since there's no number in front of the x, we know it's a 1. So really, what we're going to write is a negative 2 up top. And x squared divided by x is just x. So we get a negative 2x. Now, here's a hint. Since you're lining everything up, your next term in your quotient is going to have the same variable as what it is supposed to be lined up to. Okay, so we have a 9x here, so that meant above it you were going to put another x term. So that can help you out move along quicker as well. So now take the minus 2x, multiply it by x minus 3. Minus 2x times x is a minus 2x squared. Minus 2x times a minus 3 is a plus 6x. So we got minus 2x squared plus 6x. And now what do? We subtract. Okay. This notation is probably better for people to use. If you like this better and it makes it clearer to say, yep, I'm subtracting each thing down, then do that. You could go ahead and do this plus do your distributive property, whatever floats your boat. But let's just do the subtraction. Minus 2x minus another negative 2x. That's just going to cancel each other out. So the minus 2x squared minus a minus 2x squared is 0. Period. 9x minus 6x. 3x. Easy peasy. All right. And now what do we do? Okay. Do we have any more things to drop down? And the answer to that is yes. We have this minus 9 at the end. We need to drop that down. So drop it like it's hot. And let's start looking at the multiplication. And okay, so we have an x minus 3, and we're going to divide that into the 3x minus 9. So we need to know what we can multiply this x by to get a 3x, which is a plus 3. Right. So now take that 3, multiply it there. So 3 times x is 3x. 3 times a minus 3 is a minus 9. And just like everything else, we're going to subtract. This time we have the exact same binomial being subtracted by the exact same binomial. When you subtract two things that are exactly the same, they cancel out. It gives you a big whopping 0. Woo! All right. So in this case, we have a binomial that divides evenly into another polynomial. That's awesome. There's 0 remainder. That means our answer is just straight up x squared minus 2x plus 3. Easy peasy. Awesome job. This process will help you divide anything. You can do it with more than just a binomial as your divisor. It does not have to be an x minus 3. It could be an x squared plus 2x plus 1 or whatever. You're still just going to focus on canceling out your first term in your dividend each time until you get to the end. Right? For the purpose of this video and the fact that I don't have a lot of space, we are going to go ahead and just stick with binomials as your divisor for now. Should anyone want to see an example of something longer, feel free to post in the comments and let me know. I will be more than happy to whip up a video for that. Let's move on to another example. Let's look at the problem with a remainder. So if we have a remainder in here, that means that the x plus 3 won't divide evenly into this polynomial. Will you know that ahead of time? Not necessarily. Is there a trick to find out how? Yes, there is. If you'd like to know about that, leave a comment. I will create a video. So the very first thing we want to do is set up our long division. So here's our long division. Once we have that set up, start our process. Focus on the first terms. X goes into 3x cubed how many times? Okay. Well, we know you need to put a 3 in front of it, so there's going to be a 3. And we know we're going to write this on the next term over, so because x goes into x cubed, x squared times, so we just need a 3x squared. All right, so what do we do now? We take the 3x squared, multiply it by x plus 3, and write it underneath our dividend. And just like before, what do? We subtract, and then bring down the next thing. All right, so here I have this little formula. We come through. I got this notation to make it a little bit easier, hopefully. Whatever works for you. If you want to distribute the minus through, go right ahead. 3x cubed minus 3x cubed cancel out. Bye-bye. Minus 3x squared and a minus 9x squared, because, the parentheses says you got a minus each item. So a minus and a plus is a minus. So minus 3 minus 9 is a minus 12x squared. And then we still have stuff. So bring that plus x down. Okay. So now we have a minus 12x squared plus x. Wash, rinse, repeat. Do step 2, 3, 4 until you can't do it no more. Okay. So what do I need? X goes into a minus 12x squared. Well, I know I'm going to need a minus 12 because the only thing you can subtract a minus 12 from to get 0 is a minus 12. And then that's an x squared. So that has one x. We need another x. So minus 12x. Lo and behold, oh my God, that's right over the x term in the dividend. Fancy that. So now take the minus 12x and multiply it by x plus 3. Minus 12x times x is minus 12x squared. Minus 12x times 3 is a minus 36x. And now, subtract. Very good. Now notice I changed it up on you. I know I'm subtracting. They're both negative, so minus a minus is always a plus. So all I did was change them to pluses. This is what we're calling distributing the negative through. It's kind of skipping a step in there. But if we're at this level, we hopefully can do that fairly simply. If not, that's fine. Post in the comment. I can create a more in detailed video. So let's go ahead and combine our like terms. Those cancel out. X plus 36x is 37x. And then what do? We drop it down. So we got that minus 5. We got to drop it down. That's the last term. So now let's deal with this. X goes into 37x how many times? Well, the only difference between x and 37x is there's a 37 in front of this one. So that's what we need, plus 37, because it's positive. So now do your multiplication. 37 times x is 37x. 37 times 3 is 111. And then subtract. Look at that. I brought that notation back on you. Oh no. 37x minus 37x is nothing. They go bye-bye. Minus 5 and a minus 111 is a minus 116. Okay. Now, this is a remainder. There are no more terms in our dividend, in our polynomial to bring down to do more division. So this is what's left over. How do we handle that? Okay. Back in grade school days, before we learned about fractions and decimals, all we would do is write our quotient and do an R and then put that number. But we're in algebra now, okay, or higher. We're getting there. We turn this into a fraction. Just like if we had a remainder with numbers and you were dividing something by 4 and you had a remainder of 1, you'd end up putting a 1 over 4, 1/4. We'll do the same thing here. So we have two options. Okay. Our answers can be either 3x squared minus 12x plus 37 minus, because that's the negative, minus 116 over our divisor, x plus 3. Or you can do 3x squared minus 12x plus 37. That didn't change. And you could do plus, and then put the negative 116 on top as your numerator and do x plus 3 as the denominator. Either one is technically a valid answer. However, this is the preferred option. Okay. We always want to try to simplify as many symbols as we can in a final answer. Having a whole bunch of pluses and minuses so close to each other is not usually the best method. So once we have this done, it's like, great, way to go, we did it. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So let's look at something else. We are now going to divide polynomials that are missing terms. So let's look at this. We have x cubed minus 2x plus 5 divided by x plus 4. There's something missing, isn't there? Most standard form polynomials are going to go down 1 degree each time. Their exponents will drop by 1. So x cubed, x squared, x to the first, or x, and then no x's. So we are missing x squared. So let's go ahead and rewrite this in expanded form. So you put the x cubed plus 0x squared minus 2x plus 5, and then divide by x plus 4. Now let's go ahead and set up our long division. And here we go. X plus 4 as our divisor, x cubed plus 0x squared minus 2x plus 5 as our dividend. And then just follow the steps that we just went through. So what's the first thing we do? Focus on the x's. X goes into x cubed how many times? If you're still wanting to say a number, I understand. But yeah, it's x squared. Correct. Now, x squared times x plus 4. So what do you get? Correct. X cubed plus 4x squared. So, third thing we do? Yes, we subtract. So now we're subtracting. X cubed minus x cubed is 0. And then you have 0 minus 4. It means you're in debt. So you get a minus 4x squared. And then we need to do what? Correct. Bring down the next term, minus 2x. So now we're taking this binomial term, dividing it into the minus x squared minus 2x. Minus 4x squared minus 2x, excuse me. X goes into a minus 4x squared minus 4x times. Do the multiplication. Minus 4x times x minus 4x squared, we know that, minus 4x times 4, minus 16x. And then subtract. Now, of course, since both of those were minuses, I'm cheating a little bit and turning them both into pluses to make it easy. So first terms cancel out. We know the minus 4x squared and the plus 4x squared, that's gone. Then you got a minus 2x plus a 16x. Last I checked, that should be a 14x. And is there anything else? Is that a remainder? Are we done? So no, that's not our remainder. We still have more to do. There's a plus 5, so let's drop that down. So we have a 14x plus 5. So now what? X goes into 14x, a plus 14 times. Very good. Now, 14 goes into x plus 4. Well, not goes into, but 14 times x plus 4. Make sure we're using the right terminology so we don't confuse our brains. And we get 14x plus 56. And what do? Once again, we subtract. And we know the first term should cancel out. That was the point of this. And then you got 5 minus 56 gives me a negative 51. So I have another remainder. All right. So now, how's that going to be as an answer? And keep in mind what I said we preferred to see. There we go. X squared minus 4x plus 14 minus 51 over x plus 4. Most excellently done. Okay. So yeah, it's this simple. If you're missing terms, put in a 0 placeholder, and then all you do is you focus on the x, the first term in your divisor, focus on the first term in your dividend, and you just keep doing that all the way down, every single time. So you figure out what goes on the quotient. Quotient times the divider goes underneath. Subtract. Start the process again. And you keep going until you have no more terms to drop down, and you will either have a 0 or you will have a remainder. So with any luck, that has made it a lot easier for many people to understand. Hopefully this will do well for you. So with that, I'm going to say thank you for watching this video. Thank you for visiting Get It Right. If you have any requests for math problems, any explanations, reviews, make sure you subscribe, like, and post it in the comments. And if you're interested in more stuff about polynomials, you could always check out our book, Polynomials, Piece by Piece. It's by Sotheos Publishing, creators of this channel, and we are on Amazon and Google Play. Thank you, and have a great day.